Perfect. It's all good. It's all good. Can we just wait for people to join? Hi, welcome to our webinar. Thanks ever so much for joining us. We're just going to give people just a couple of minutes just to join us. It's nice to see all of us look happy faces.
Yes.
Cold, but
Faces of excitement.
Yeah. Thanks again for those people joining us now. We'll just give it just a minute, let people join. Sun's still shining here, which is great. Nice end to the week.
it isn't here, which is frustrating.
It's unusual.
Very. How is the weather in Argentina?
It's
It's
crazy.
a little bit weird. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a bit cold, but also a little bit hot. So we don't really understand what is going on.
Season
The
wise.
humidity is awful.
We are starting autumn,
Okay.
Autumn.
so it's a little bit crazy. You know, we have days that are really hot. Then today was raining, so
Oh, same here.
it's a little bit weird.
Yes, but the humidity is a crazy thing because it makes it even hotter than if it wasn't. So yeah,
Oh.
I just want winter to start.
No, well. When is winter there?
In June.
Oh, fair enough. It's our summer.
Soon enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, let's begin. So what we'll do is we're going to send a recording to everyone that's signed up as well. We're going to edit that with the guests
Okay.
involved today. So, hi, my name's Dave Page, and thank you ever so much for joining us today on this webinar. We've also had Julio, our resident in-house language expert, as well as experienced video and filmmaker, and special guests Claudia and Daniela as well. Welcome. Faces behind Psicologas en Linea. I might have said that wrong, but I'll let you guys describe a bit more about it. They'll be talking about anxiety and mental health in adolescence. They're a team of psychologists based in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and they created a space of mental health with the aim of promoting knowledge, support, health, and tools to help with mental wellness. So, yeah, thank you ever so much, guys, for joining us today. So, firstly, we'll give you a quick background of FilmDoo Academy and how we came to arrive in the EdTech space. So, FilmDoo Academy actually started out as a global online film streaming platform, helping people find and watch feature films, shorts, etc., all over the world, covering in the end 83 countries and over 35 languages now. So we spent the past 2 years developing software that works on top, over the top of video and film content to create courses that can be used by schools, tutors alike. They can be used in class, online with live lessons, set as homework, or even as self-study or home tuition. In 2019, we had discussions and pilots with large corporations such as the BBC, the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London, and the Language Flagship Program, which is based in the United States, that provides 21 universities with language programs and is funded as well by the US Department of Defense. So it's massively funded. Since the pandemic, though, we have been working hard to help schools and teachers back here in the UK, including SEN schools and teachers. Our software enables a teacher to create a class with the help of a film or video content and then adding personalized interactions. Using film interactively in the form of a multiple choice game enables the student to engage in the content and get a result at the end how they've done. Tutors will be able to download the scores at the end of the students and track the progress of their students. Using video in this way keeps students interested, motivated, and focused. Overall, it makes learning fun. Now, I'd like to welcome Julio and his guests to speak about their experiences and insights. Over to you.
Hello, hello. Before we start, though, I think we lost someone.
Yes, I think Daniela had an internet malfunction, so she'll join shortly. But anyways, I can take care of it, of her part, so don't worry.
Perfect. It wasn't me, trust me. I didn't click on anything I shouldn't. It's fine. Yeah, the internet can be a bit unstable.
I'm sure she'll join us soon enough. So yeah, well, I mean, I just can't wait to hear from Claudia and Daniela when she joins us. But as Dave said, these are my very special friends and colleagues from Psicologas and Linea, which is a very, very interesting new platform where they discuss all sort of mental health issues. And I've been a fan. Unfortunately, it's Spanish content. They are starting to think and to create some very cool stuff in English. But yeah, I was very curious, and I know Claudia for a while, and I knew what they were doing and what they were discussing, and it's very creative how they sum up psychological terms, complex things that were going on in very simple day-to-day advices. And we were talking about how could this help with our EdTech tool, as you mentioned, Dave, and to our teachers, the teachers that we're currently working with. And they are specialized. I'm going to let you do your own bio because it's better, but they're specialized in teenage problems. And one of them, especially nowadays, is anxiety. And well, this whole thing started so because we think it's very, very relevant these days. I think again, it can help our teachers, but it can help anybody going through it or having adolescents or children that are going through it. Yeah. And I'll let Claudia and Daniela, that is now joining us, tell us a little bit more.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having us, for being here. This is a great opportunity for us to share our knowledge about adolescence anxiety and how to recognize it and deal with it. Nowadays, this is a theme that is really important, that it's really relevant. So this is great for us. So thank you. First of all, we want to know if you know what anxiety is. Anxiety is a response to something that we're feeling like a threat. Is an excessive concern about something that the person is treating as dangerous. The symptoms of anxiety can be like palpitations, shortness of breath, tremors, sensation of being on edge, obsessive thoughts about the situation that they're reading as dangerous. So another thing, what can be triggering anxiety in teens? To understand what can be triggered of anxiety, we have to first understand what a teenager is going through. In the adolescence, teens go through several mental changes that comes with puberty. The first change has to do with their changing bodies. Puberty makes their body change drastically, which causes a lot of ache, distress, and angst. Therefore, they have to come in terms with their new body and make it their own. The second change has to do with exploring the sexuality that makes puberty awakes. Teens start having fantasies, desires to explore their new sexuality with others and also with their own bodies. The third change that comes with adolescence is about mourning their child life, in which the most important links are with their parents, with their families, and in the adolescent, the most important links are with their friends, with their peers. They start looking up to other people outside their parents, like teachers, artists, celebrities, influencers. They seek to explore the world with their friends, away from their parents' control. The fourth and the last change that is the look for their own identity. This has to do with three changes: how they become in turn with their bodies, their sexuality, and new relationships. Their growing identity is what with the term how they are going to face the world and in a more mature and independent way. These four changes that the adolescents go through are very traumatic and can cause a lot of angst and suffering. This can be expressed in a lot of different ways and levels of severity. And one of the many ways that they can express is anxiety. Anxiety is an increasing way of suffering among teens, and the lockdown is definitely a factor that nowadays is influencing in the mental health of teens. So the lockdown paused a lot of process that the adolescents go through because it limited the possibilities that teens have of exploring the world outside their houses. In addition to all of this process that adolescents go through, the teenagers have to face now a new way of learning. They have to be 24/7 in their houses with their families, and when all of they want is to be outside with their friends. They can be facing trouble using the camera, using the microphone, because they don't feel comfortable with their voice or their body. This can cause a lot of anxiety, and in a lot of time we don't know exactly the situation that they're going through in their houses, the family dynamic, and what type of distress they can be suffering. So in a lot of so we have to have in mind that teens live all of these things with confusion. They mostly don't understand what they're going through. They don't understand what they're feeling. So what they're feeling is anger, sadness, confusion, and they don't always understand those feelings, so they can express it. They can communicate it clearly to others or to themselves. In a lot of ways, us as adults, we have a very important role, helping them understand and expressing their feelings. So we prepare a video here. Julio is going to help us with that, so we can share and think about a few examples of how teens can express anxiety and distress and how we can deal with it.
Thank you so much. And I have so many follow-up questions for later. Hello, Daniela. I think we have you back. Maybe we don't have
the audio. I think it's not working.
Okay, now I think it does.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
That's okay, not a problem. It happens.
The entire internet just went off in the entire building. So
it's a modern meeting, modern world problem, right?
Yes.
We
the worst moment ever.
It happens. Don't worry about it at all. Claudia was nice enough to start us with I think a lot of thought-provoking material, I would say. Dave has a teenage son, by the way, which I think I could see him nodding along.
Yeah, especially talking about puberty and that kind of, he's 13 years old, so he's going through a lot of certainly with the lockdown, everything happening there. But yeah, there's a lot actually there that kind of resonated with me. Yeah, so absolutely.
So I'm gonna share my screen really quickly. This is all Claudia and Daniela. I take no credit, but to be the projectionist.
This is the tool, and they've created a course here using the tool. So Julio's just shared a link there if you want to play along. If you click on the link, you will be taken to the site and then asked which room name it is. And for this example, it's going to be mango.
Mango. I'm going to write it on the chat really quickly.
I'm going to log in on my phone because I haven't actually seen this. So I'm going to play along and see how well I do.
Perfect.
Or poorly to that matter.
Perfect. So guys, just for you to know, this video is oriented to teachers. These are different scenarios of teaching. I think more oriented towards a virtual classroom, but in general terms, what would you do if you were in these situations? You have 3 answers, quite easy to play and understand. Can I ask you all to put in mute your video because you might have it in a double screen. That way we can see mine and we can follow each other's along the game. I'm gonna wait. I have Daniela here. I have Angela. I think we have one more.
Right, 2 seconds. I'm just joining.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm on there. Good stuff. You can join as well by just typing in the URL of fdo.oo. It'll take you to the same party as well, the same page as this party as well.
Just mango.
And then room name mango. That's it.
Okay, you tell me. Should we start? I think somebody's missing.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So I think everyone that wants to play along is playing.
For example, refuses to turn on his camera and microphone.
I'm not replying so that we don't cheat. There we
Second
go.
example, one of your students starts being extremely self-demanding and expecting only great results in her assignments and tests. Third example, you notice one of your students acting really nervous and he starts falling asleep during class.
Yell at him to wake him up, definitely.
Fourth example, one of your students refuses to participate in class and starts being aggressive if you insist. Fifth example, one of your students is suddenly more quiet and doesn't socialize with her classmates like she used to.
Okay. That's it, everybody. Well done. Oh, I took it off before saying the results. Good job, Dave.
Excellent job.
And thank you so much for that video, guys, because again, they do most of their content in Spanish, so this is a special video just for us. Sorry, I let you carry on.
Okay. Well, as we can see from the examples that we just saw, what we could recommend for you for these situations is to create an environment where the teens can feel comfortable expressing their emotions or the situation that they are going through. How? We could implement some dynamics as dedicating a few moments before or after the class so the teens can bring a song, a piece of a movie, a piece of TV show, a video on YouTube, or wherever they feel important, because that sort of things that they feel identified with. You can also dedicate some of your time to talk to the students when you notice something that is off, always showing yourself eager and open to listen and understand them. Why? Because it's really, really important for the teens to feel understood, because they don't always understand themselves and they feel that the world doesn't understand them. So if we show ourselves open to listen, to understand, to help, that is going to make a really, really big, important and difference for the teens. And also we have to have in mind that learning is a process that can be facilitated and it can be obstacled by all our way of talking to them, and also by all of their emotional processes. So if we can give them an environment so they can feel open to express, it's going to be really helpful. So do you have any questions about anything that we talked about today?
I have a couple. Dave, do you want to start? Because I'm very curious about this subject. So just to start where you ended, Danny, what advice would you have? Because we work with some teachers now that are doing either going back to physical class, which this space that you're talking about, or of a little bit more flexibility and friendliness, the before and after class, or maybe a special lesson. But we also have people that are on a hybrid system where they have like, and I know this is the case for a lot of European countries, where you have part of physical class, but then you have a portion of your class that is doing virtually. We work with a teacher in the US that they're also doing this hybrid model, which I have another particular question about this scenario. And then we have the completely virtual one. So, and I feel like, again, technology can bring us together, but in this case, and in the case of anxiety, maybe feel more awkward for a teacher to reach out to the student, because there is less of these windows that are more natural to have. So what would you say to those teachers that they have this barrier in technology because they don't get to sit down physically with the student?
Well, technology is not only a barrier, you know. I just talked about being able for the students to bring something from YouTube or a movie or anything, and technology, it makes it really, really easy to happen. So it's not really a barrier, because it makes it actually easier. So you can dedicate a little bit more minutes in your class to do that. And also, I think, I don't know all of the ways that teachers can communicate with students, but I assume that they have their emails, their cell phones, so they can also communicate with them out of class. I don't know, Claudia.
Yes. For teenagers, technology is like a tool for them. It's easier for them to express or use it or make a hand out of it. So for the teachers, might be more difficult, but we have to adapt to the new situation, to our new ways of teaching and learning. So if we use it as a tool, how? If they if it's a hybrid, for some people, they have in presence, class in present, or in virtually, we can use the time in the classroom, the physical classroom, to talk about how they're feeling, or not talk about it because they have problems or trouble speaking it. Or we can do it as a game, or as a, we can use it right now. TikTok is a really good tool for teens. They use it a lot, and they can express themselves by acting, by dancing, by creating these videos that show how they're feeling. And we can make, I don't know, you can have a homework. You can do a TikTok expressing how it was your week, how you're feeling, how you're dealing with the lockdown, how are you dealing, or how you are adapting to the virtual week, or giving them the space to bring their knowledge, how we can improve our way of learning, giving the adolescent the opportunity to talk how they would like to do it. Like, okay, this is the subject that we have for this week. We have to learn about, I don't know, the Civil War. How would you like to do it? We can do it. We can read a story. We can see a video. We can make a theater out of it, or giving them the space and the opportunity to participate and being on board with the creating and the flexibility of the space.
I love that. I mean, because it really mixes with what Dave was saying of the power of video, and in this case, the power of video to communicate. No, like it could be a very nice bridge between, like, because there is a generation, because there is a distance physically, but it can be a very nice bridge for communication, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that the key is to change our perspective and not think about technology as a barrier, and start thinking about it as a tool, like Klaus says.
Yeah. Dave, you have any questions?
Do you know what? I agree totally. I think I'm one of these people, right? So I'm a parent. I'm on my own here. Got my 13-year-old son. I do rely quite heavily on technology, and it worries me. And I've kind of taken him away from some of that. But he learns by a lot of this. He learns by a heck of a lot of this. And I've got to remember that he's going to be using technology in a way that I never did and I'm not going to say how old I am, but when I was younger, I didn't use technology in the same way that it's used now. And there is kind of this, you know, everyone says about exactly right. You know, we see it as a barrier, but we shouldn't see it as a barrier. It's a new way of introducing new ways of learning to people. And my son, for one, oh my goodness, he loves a TikTok video for sure, and he creates his own, and he wants a YouTube channel and be the next biggest YouTuber online. But he's learned an enormous amount by it. And what he does is, you know, if he reads something that he likes, he'll do the research himself with, you know, watching videos. And I love that. And I've got to remember, sometimes I say, right, you're limited X amount of time, you know, and I've got to remember that sometimes it's used in a way where, yeah, it is beneficial for his education.
Yeah,
and not that, it can be. Sorry, just it can be used, and this has been a big issue and problem as well with the lockdown. Is social development, and with him being at the age he is now, he's able to, with technology, to communicate with people, to socialize with people in an active way and learn by them as well. Sorry, I interrupted, but it's a subject that really kind of, you know, it gets to me, to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that I think in most of the cases we underestimate teenagers because we think that they're all over the place, that they don't know what they want, they have a mood swing, they switch mood so drastically. One day they're happy and the other they're angry at you and you don't know even why. Nothing happened, but what's happening, and they don't talk. They locked down in their rooms and they don't want to go out. They can't stop eating, or eating too much, or eating just junk food, and all of this, and we don't always have the answer to this. And as a parent, it's really difficult, because you once were a teenager and you did the same thing to your parents. Obviously the time has changed a lot for your parents. They don't have the difficulties that technology brings, because you don't understand. In that time, you went out, and the rebel thing to do was escape from your house and go to a dance, or drink with your friends in the corner, and escaping and going and climbing through the window to get back to your house. And that was the thing back then. Right now, some adolescents can go outside because that's what's expected from them, and this stage of life. They have to explore the world outside. They want to explore the world with their friends, go out, stay outside, and do things that can be perceived as dangerous. But most of them stay at home and do TikToks and be online 24/7. And how we can merge all of that. If we go against it, it can be like two ways. It can be good or bad for us, because they can close even more in themselves. But what if we find a way to getting through it? What if we find a way to adapt ourselves, because we want them to adapt to ourselves, which is normal, because we are the adults and we don't have to adapt to the teenager. But what if we find a way when we can find ourselves in the middle? We can if we give them the opportunity to talk, and for us to listen without judgment, it will say like, oh, my dad listened to me, or oh, my mom is interested in this. And it will give them the window to talk, to open, to show you, look what I did on TikTok, look what I found out. And we in our platform, we use a lot of technology, but we use it as a tool to give people knowledge, to teach about mental health. There are all other platforms like yours that you use it as a tool to teach a language, to give us the opportunity to talk. So if we give them the tools to our children to open, to show us, and not be judgmental, that I know it's hard, because we have jobs, we have the everyday stress. We are like over the top with the stress, and we don't want to be flexible, because you only have to study and I have to pay the bills. But this is a stage where parents have to survive also the adolescence process. It is not only the teenagers that are suffering, the parents too, but how we deal with it, give them the tools to come out to the world. If I have in my house my parents that listen to me, and they can put limits because they're important, they give them the space, the safe space to be themselves and to be comfortable with it. Sorry that it took me so long.
No. It's extremely interesting. Can I ask you, Claudia, because you at the beginning of the talk you started by like signaling the very key parts of adolescence in terms of what puberty means like and this morning of childhood, and most of these changes in a normal, because I like the comparison you were saying with Dave in your time, and I think more than times or not is this COVID time that is so different, is all of these changes in teenagers seem that they could benefit, like again before a pandemic, from outside and from like physical socializing. So again, I'm completely with you. I think technology is a resource, but how do you see this different in a teenager that is going through these changes that you said, but it cannot do the socializing that is so important, that cannot do this morning of childhood that is so important, and that I feel like you do, as you say, you do it with your friends and you do it in the outside world, but now people are limited to go to the outside world, and the outside world doesn't look what it used to be. So I'm guessing that increases anxiety, especially in such a vulnerable age, right?
Yes.
Danny, you want to go? Yeah.
Yes. Well, in this case, the outside is online, right? Is chatting with her friends, is all of the YouTube videos, the TikToks. Teenagers nowadays cannot go outside physically, but like Klaus said, giving them the space inside of their houses to be themselves, to explore whatever they want to explore. As a parent, it's really difficult to let go our sons, the teenagers. Parents have the idea that they know their daughter or their son, but it's really, really important to think that these teens are starting to create their own identity. That is a bit different maybe than what we think about their identity. So giving them that space is also a little bit of outside, it's a little bit outside of parental control. Of course, that it's important as a parent and as a teacher always to be aware of what they are doing, especially because technology and online, it can be a little bit dangerous, but it's important to find that balance, in keeping them safe, but also giving them a space of themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there are, unfortunately, a few TikToks videos of me somewhere that I've done with my son. But yeah, absolutely. And I must admit, the engagement as a parent, immersing myself into it as much as I possibly can to kind of understand where he's coming from is so important. And I've seen him change as well. And I'm only speaking from my example, but I've seen a change in him, and rather than kind of, going against it and him rebelling, just wanting constantly to be on that rather than doing other things or, doing as he's told, I embrace it. So it's like, right, let's go and cook, let's record it, and we'll do a bit of fun with it. And he has accepted it in that way. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Was amazing. Because it's like that. You can use technology as TikTok as a tool to create a bond with your teenager. Okay, you don't want to, let's go camping. We can record the trip. Let's record how we, how do we say
set up the tent?
Exactly, set up the tent. Let's make a video out of it. So we are giving them the outside, and as Daniela said, the outside now is inside with technology. That's how we go outside. We go to Instagram or we see it through the screen.
Yeah.
Can I ask you? I mean, I have no teenage children, but on behalf of Dave, because she was talking about limitation, is when do you know? And I think for teachers, I asked, as I told you, a few colleagues of mine that couldn't show up today, and they said they struggle a little bit with the first question I asked in terms of how to find the proper channel to have that informality with the student within a virtual. And then the other question that I heard in a couple of different occasions is how to advise into when this content or this social media, especially more oriented, is too much. Because as you guys say, because there is this isolation, this is the way of socializing now. So how, you see what I mean? Like, I find that there is a delicate balance of letting him or her be on that world, because that's part of their socializing, and just limit them because they're still screen time, because it can be toxic, because it can be unsafe to a certain extent. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is an answer for that. I think it's a case by case, but do you?
I was going to say, I'd love to know the answer myself, because yeah, it's used sometimes as a crux, because if I've got meetings or work to do, then you know, if he's done his homework and he's done his study work, then oh, Dad, can I play? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, because it suits me as well, and he loves that. But there is a time. I mean, he spends an awful lot of time on games and videos and YouTubing, and he watches games on YouTube, and yeah. So again, it's something that I've just had to embrace. But yeah, absolutely, Julio, I'd love to know the answer myself. What is that limit?
I think what we need to have in mind also, I don't know if Danny agrees with me, is that teenagers tend to have a trouble with limits and limitation. They tend to go over it, and because it's like a bad word. It's something that they go against it.
It goes with the age.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rebellious. Yeah, it's rebellious.
Yeah, if I have a limit, I'm gonna break it. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna pay attention to my parents, because I don't want to talk about it, and that's part of the process, right? But the limits are important, because we don't have if we give them too much liberty, it can come against us. So I think it's important to give them the opportunity for them to create their own limits. How can we do that? Like, okay, this is my opinion as your parent, that too much time on screen is bad. It's good for you to go outside, but a fade limit, so it can go under the sheet. Like, okay, this is a limit, but I put it in a way that you don't understand that I'm putting like a strict limit. So maybe in classroom, if we want to bring technology to the classroom, we can do it as a homework or with a final purpose or academic purpose. We're not going to do it for just for pleasure. We have to give them like a specific purpose that works for us in the classroom, in the context that we are in. And in the house, we give them, okay, you did all of the tasks that you had to do. You did your homework. You wash the dishes. You clean your room. You took a shower. You did all of that. Okay, you can spend time on your cell phone, but have in mind that there are other things that are good for you, like reading a book, go outside. Maybe if you want to go around and do errands, you can join me. Let's go with me. Help me with this. Let's go for a walk together. But if the thing with teenagers is that we put them like a strict limit, they're gonna rebel against it. So,
Mhm.
I think that the limit could be doing, but that they don't notice that you're doing it. I don't know if that makes any sense, or if Danny agrees with me.
Yes, well, limits are really difficult thing to balance. Every, well, always, but in the adolescence, it's really difficult. We have to understand that we can't be we can let them do anything, and we can't be too strict. We have to find the balance in it. Um, we have to also understand that they being rebel, they saying no, they fighting with you as a parent, as a teacher.
It's all part of the process.
It's all part of the process. I mean, it feels, as an adult, it feels awful, and you don't want to be in that part of the relationship, but it means that they're growing. So we need, as an adult, as a therapist, as a teacher, as a parent, we need to provide certain boundaries and certain ways to the teens, for the teens to handle themselves. So we need to give them some limits, because total freedom is not good for them. But again, we don't need to be super strict. So we have to set certain boundaries that are going to be different than the boundaries that were when they were childs, because they need other things now. So there's no universal answer to this. So it's really up to every teen and every parent and every family dynamic. So you have to find this type of balance that you can find in your house, because it's really important for the teen. Again, they need limits, but not too much.
Yeah.
But it's important for, as a parent and as a teacher, that you can show yourself still as an authority figure. Even though you have to be flexible, you have to be try to understand them and share their interests. You really have to still be an authority figure for them to also learn how to run in the world, because they also learn from you how to be an adult.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite quotes was earlier with Claudia, that he said that is as you both have mentioned, is a time that you really need to aim at understanding them, maybe at a moment in their life where they don't understand themselves, which I think is poetic and is very complex. It's what makes it complicated, because they're not sure. And as you were saying, Daniela, it's about having that balance between authority and permissive and very open. I think openness and communication, and with what you guys said, and let's say what we're doing a little bit with FilmDoo is putting at least video at that toolkit for a teacher or for a parent to be able to communicate better with their teenager.
Totally. Yeah. Yes, we always have to have in mind that teens go through a lot. They feel a lot. They don't always understand what they're feeling. So we really need to give them those words. We really need to give them that space and that knowledge for them to understand themselves, and then for them to communicate. But firstly, they don't know. So we have to really listen and give them those tools to really understand them and communicate.
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, there's a lot for me to take away. I've made some notes myself. Listen, thanks ever so much. It's been really insightful, I must say. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you guys on board with us. And
thank you, guys. I'm so glad we were able to do it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll do is this will be shown on YouTube, and I'll put a link to the company underneath, the company as well as ours. And yeah, we've got a short recorded demonstration of our video tool as well, presented by the head of technology and design with Rob and Vrada. And there'll be a link underneath this video as well to that. Also, if you'd like to book a 15-minute demonstration of our tool, simply respond to the email that I'll send out to everyone that signed up and watch this webinar. And you can have a private one-to-one meeting in which I show you how to create a class and answer any questions or queries anyone might have. Again, thank you ever so much for joining us, Claudia, and obviously Julio as well. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to have a great weekend, everybody. And
you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Take care, all.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.